You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
I'm back. Rodrance for Black and White Sports. We are going to talk about a sports legend. I got to tell you, at one time, one of my favorite sports entities, one of my favorite sporting shows to watch was Real Sports on HBO with Bryant Gumbel. They had some great journalistic work over there for HBO for so many years. Well, that is before the dark times, before the woke times. And there's a story that's come out involving former contributor, a man that just left in the last few months, a legendary journalist named Bernie Goldberg, who left Real Sports and HBO because essentially Bryant Gumbel told him racism is everywhere. And much as we know, you're not allowed to have a conservative viewpoint when it comes to the liberal media, liberal sports media or otherwise. Okay, they're trying to quieten that voice, shut you up, make you go away, and we're here to tell you that's not going to happen. This is crazy, but it shows you the times we're in. Let's get to this article. It is from Mediaite. Bernie Goldberg says Bryant Gumbel remark led him to quit HBO's Real Sports. He didn't want to be on a show whose host, quote, thinks racism is everywhere. Earlier this year, Bernard Goldberg quietly departed HBO's Real Sports. He has been there forever. And I mean, as long as I've watched the show, he has been on it. HBO's Real Sports without much fanfare after more than 2 decades on the program. In recent months, Goldberg amplified his quiet exit, trashing the show and now blaming his departure on host Bryant Gumbel. In his column for BernardGoldberg.com, the former Real Sports contributor recalled the show's year-end roundtable on HBO last December. Goldberg pointed out to a specific comment from Gumbel during a discussion that made him realize he no longer wanted to be a Real Sports contributor. Quote, I told the show's host, Bryant Gumbel, that I recently tuned in to watch a National Hockey League playoff game, and I heard a player at a pregame ceremony say that, quote, racism is everywhere, Goldberg writes. I told Gumbel that since I didn't tune in to get a lecture on what a racist country America is, I changed the channel. To which Bryant replied, racism is everywhere. Not only does Goldberg argue that racism is not everywhere, but he claims racism was never everywhere in the United States. Smart man. It was never in the hearts of abolitionists, never in the hearts of those brave Americans who challenged Jim Crow and fought often at great peril for civil rights. I know it's not everywhere because it's not in my house, Goldberg writes. The year-end roundtable was Goldberg's final contribution to Real Sports, officially leaving the show a few weeks after his discussion of racism with Gumbel. I didn't want to be part of a team whose most predominant voice thinks racism is everywhere, and where the other 5 correspondents, whose politics range from liberal to hard-left progressive, just sat there and said nothing, Goldberg added. In a tell-all interview with Bill O'Reilly 2 months ago, the 76-year-old Goldberg argued that he was, quote, diversity for Real Sports, because his conservative viewpoints differed from the other correspondents. And that is a great point. Let's be honest. They don't want true diversity. They want somebody to roll over and scratch their bellies and tell them, oh yeah, the country is racist. Oh yeah, white people are evil. Oh, Christian straight white males, they're the devil. All right? But no, they're not. We're not. And we know they're not. But yet, we're not welcome. Our viewpoint's not welcome. And look, as long as he's been on that show 2 decades, And that tells you what he was working around, what he was having to listen to. Look, we got that shirt. The media is the real virus. Here we are, Bryant Gumbel, somebody that I respected a lot for a lot of years, did a lot of good work on Real Sports. They brought a lot of great actual journalism, something that used to happen with media. You remember, there was things that's happened in the last year that I won't go into that, truth be known, it would have been a newspaper guy, a journalist, somewhere at the Globe, somewhere that would have actually researched, actually investigated, and actually blew the lid off something that happened in the last year. But hell, they're not going to touch that now, are they? They're not going to do that. All the King's men, forget about it. It's not going to happen. And this is it right here. Bernard Goldberg, somebody with his background, his credentials. This guy's a great journalist, a great journalist. But his colleagues, they felt uncomfortable because he's a conservative and he doesn't agree. And look, I said in my last video, sure, racism does exist in this country. It does. It's a very, very small, minute, leftover minority out there. Hell, they would lead you to believe that the Klan's still walking around on the streets right now with hoods on. That's not a fact. It's not happening. And the media's out there lying to you about it. This is ridiculous. I hate this, but I feel like stories like this need a lot more attention. And voices, go to BernardGoldberg.com. Make it part of your reading daily, whatever he's into, whatever he's doing, go over there, check it out. I'll check it out. He's a great journalist. He's a great sports guy. And it's just sad. This is the times we live in. Ironically enough, this is the exact reason why black and white sports actually blew up so quickly. Because our voices like us, are now frowned upon, and they try to muffle us. All right? Guys like Bernard Goldberg trying to be muffled in this country. Look, we're going to tell you the truth. We don't care. We don't have an agenda. We don't care what CNN says. I don't care what the Marxist ESPN of China says. I don't care what Fox Sports says. It's ridiculous. Racism is not everywhere. It's a false narrative. They're blowing smoke up your asses. And a lot of it, look, a lot of people believe this is actually from black people. No, it's a lot from a lot of woke-ass lefty white folks. I can tell you right now. Poisoned by liberal professors, etc., etc. Tell me what you think, black and white sports fans. Man, that's a hell of a person to lose from a hell of a show, or what used to be a hell of a show. Another show I won't be watching now. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.